One Love and Wellness. Welcome to the next episode of Heart Happy Hour. I'm Precious Mother Love. Love plus art equals wellness. Do you really love me? Do you love me? Loving you, loving me, loving you, loving me, yeah. Hi there, welcome to the next episode. I'm Precious Mother Love. I am in the process of sharing my music with you, and I abruptly stopped it. Didn't mean to, but hey, thank you for coming and joining me for the next episode. That was me in the background. That's what we call it, is called Ad-Lib 1. Now, most of my music is published. Most of my music is available for purchase, and you can look me up on Love+Art equals wellness. So today's episode of Heart Happy Hour, we will be doing, as usual, I will start off with a poem. The reading of this poem is called True North. And it's really about me finding my true north, even though I am in the process of right-sizing my big picture and my little picture, or my micro and my macro, my inner, my outer. I'm understanding, overstanding, understanding, standing on my truth. And I have a poem that's kind of an ode to where I am right now. And in addition, next thing we'll do is we'll talk about some words. I also want to talk a little bit about these weather patterns. I want to talk about space flights. I want to talk about April Fool's Day. I want to talk about Easter. So in the meantime, One Love and Wellness, let's get this started. This poem was just finished in the last week or so. Pardon any noise you might hear by the papers turning. My mic is very sensitive. Thank you very much for hearing me very well. So, True North. Once upon a field so green, the stars aligned geometrically. Nightly storms quiet quickly, and all my galactic mind can calculate is politely with divinity. Prime is the time for the sun and the moon to swoon. If ever Mr. Good, Mr. Better, and Mr. Best met Mr. New with the silent K, we keep the news all to ourselves and refuse the likes and the views and turn tail to set sail for the clues, being true to chart the course according to God's forces and drawing near the reflection of self and of great health and high IQ and in love agility. Big strong arms embracing me and cuddling, caressing with genuine affinity. The spirit, the way I like to hear it, fondling all my wishes and delighting all my senses. An instrument player with artistry and creative layers, ascending intentions, marital bliss fit, till death kind of bond blessings with it. I'm Bonnie to that Clyde. Yes, indeed. Order up, universe. No more dress rehearsals. This is it. I'm all in. 100 of 100 to the millionth degree. No more overthinking the remedies. Erasing sick thoughts replaced with wellness till infinity. Raising vibrations, heated situations, the light penetrating the night, eradicating fallacies and lifting your sight to Mr. News height. At 6'2", you'll have to pinch me. Mr. News glove fits, the perfect gift giver, the careful yet adventurer, in an outdoor rover, always picking lucky clovers, having hunches and following the clues that loose the blues, and the laws of attraction are in action and blasting us through the goal line, finishing in a photo booth guarded by the tooth fairy with alligator boots, gifting your words and capturing your truth. Yes, please. We're set to achieve. Yes, indeed. He is the snack for me. Here's the deal. Wrapped in his arms, I feel it's real. And in effect, he is the us to my we, and me, the commitment I need to be free. Commitment and freedom. Snap, snap, snap. Clap, clap, clap. Hey, that's another one down in the books called True North. So, and when I'm telling about myself, I started talking about the man that I would like in my life. And I have several men that I have had my potentials with recently. There were thoughts of the potential that could be. There were some conversations, some interactions, some mixing it up just to see, what we would like to make our energy, our chemistry, the effect of our unity. And they don't seem to be as I initially considered to be. So I just started thinking about, well, what do I want? Well, how do I want to be? What do I see for me? So that was some of the things that I would like to see for me in my arms, in my love life, in my unity. So, but then, just to explain a little bit about the poem, there were some references to some things that have actually gone on in the past, to some things that when I said Mr. Good, there is an ex in my life called Mr. Good. There's an ex in my life named Mr. Best. And new with the silent K is what's coming and what's expected and what's in line and what's in store. So I'm looking out. I'm looking for signs and symptoms. And speaking of signs and symptoms, I want to speak on a few things. Like I want to speak on the April Fool's Day. What brought it about? I think I have given a good synopsis of it before, but let me recap just in case I did not give it all to you in a synopsis. So April Fool's Day back in the 1700s, I'm sorry, in the 1500s, so 1562, 1563, the Julian calendar was changed to now observe the Gregorian calendar, which made New Year's now on January 1, which we still have, and I have mentioned before that the Chinese New Year happens the second full moon after the winter solstice, which is observed usually around the 21st. It's a date that coincides with the full moon. And then, so the new year coincides with the second full moon after the winter solstice. And then Easter is the full moon after the vernal equinox, which is the timing for the new year. And then, it's celebrated for 2 weeks in the Chinese tradition. I don't know where all the cherry blossoms went, but I guess I'm a little late. They look like they're on the ground. One Love and Wellness, Happy Cherry Blossom Festival, another one of those phenomenons that we have crossed into that does align cosmologically, does align timing-wise as far as for the Chinese New Year, for the Julian calendar. This is the new year, and the cherry blossoms are another indication of the new blooms, the busting the cherry and blossoming the blooms. So Easter being the full moon after that, which kind of represents, I know we all have various symbols that we recognize for the presence of Easter, but before I go there, let me finish on what I was speaking on the April Fool's Day. Okay, so 20 years later, and that April Fool's Day, where everybody didn't get the message and everybody didn't observe it, it kind of reminds me, but not the same. It's like a reverse kind of thing, but it's like, it's a quietly kept secret. But, Juneteenth was treated in that way. It wasn't expressly, spread in such a way that it was observed by all that should have been in observance of it. But, going back to when the Julian and the Gregorian calendars changed, it took 20 years. It was in 1583 or so, before the people were really, making it more and more known and more practiced and more observed. But in Rome, they had this observation. Rome decided, okay, well, we're going to do a festival of hilarity. It was observed around the 1st of April, or somewhere in that first week of April. And it was basically an observation of making fun of the easily caught fish, because, in changing the time, I spoke about time before, where we were changing the time, falling back and springing forward. I get those mixed up sometimes. I don't know if I'm dyslexic or what, but there are times when, that kind of disconnection from what are natural occurrences, those things are, they're hidden in plain sight. Like, I never knew that the reason why that Easter moved around, I just knew it moved around. I never paid any attention to why it moved around. It never was brought to my attention that the reason why it could occur from anywhere from March 27th to April 25th is because it was an observation of the the third full moon of the year. So, so from the winter solstice, it would actually be the third full moon in observation of that time frame. I never associated it with that. One Love and Wellness, the cherry blossoms have all blossomed and bloomed in this area. This is Washington, D.C. The area, just talking about the cherry blossom, the start of the new year, kind of timing of the seasons, more in line with the natural seasons. One Love and Wellness, Love+Art equals wellness. As I said, a lot of times we're not really aware of why things are happening, but it's in plain sight. It's just not, we have not questioned it enough to want to be curious about, well, what is the flexibility of it, and the same thing with our falling forward and springing forward and falling backwards. That moves around, so, when you become curious enough to find out the ins and outs or the details of it, then you start to recognize that there was definitely a plot, a plan, a twist. And, the paradigm has been shifted, and as we become more and more aware, more tuned into nature, more tuned into Mother Earth, to Gaia's natural energies, resources, and messages, signs and symptoms, symbols, and so on, the more we will be in tune with the natural things, the nature of things, the way things are, what feels like a natural symmetry of things, or what did they say? There was a word that I said that things were happening synchronistically. Yes, things may seem like they're synchronistic, but all along it was in the plan. It was in the books. It was in motion. Everything is in motion already to you, that you have already put into the ethers. And it's up to you to be receptive of those things. And some of those things are seeds that you planted in season, and once the time has occurred, then you will reap what you have sown. And that's good, bad, or indifferent, because the energy does not make itself, it doesn't distinguish itself. It's what you do with the energy. So my phone is telling me, switch to the next level, the next gear. One Love and Wellness, Love+Art equals wellness. It is bright and sunny outdoors, and it is raining. This is the kind of thing that happens when they bust through that ozone layer And we have had so many rocket launches, satellite, whatever, space vehicle launches in the month of March. In the month of January, 8. In the month of February, I want to say 16 to 18. In the month of March, up to or over 20, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, somewhere around 25. But in any case, One Love and Wellness, we are entering new atmospheres, new places in our experiences. 2022 is an amazing learning, intellectual, scientific discovery period so far. Ashe, 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 oh. One Love and Wellness. And so now, as we move into April, as we approach our Easter, and I used to say East Star, but it was using the word estor, or it's the beginning of the word estrogen, which is the feminine energy. And so it is the symbolize this, it is a time of fertility, it is a time of reproduction, of renewal. It is the time of the crucifixion. It is the time of the death, the burial, and the resurrection. And symbolically, there are things that are celebrated during those times, but it is also an observation, which we never were told, of the full moon. So full moon is that feminine energy, and this is the birthing of or the rebirth, the resurrection, the raising of the new spring energy that is springing forward. Now you've got all these little, you know, newly hatched ideas that, while you were in your hibernation, you have been fertilizing all of these beautiful creative thoughts that you've had. You have been whittling away at all of your creative talents. You've probably given some of those away at Christmas, even some of those, or at the full moon festival gathering. You're giving away some of the cream of the crop, some things that you have put in and in the effort of nourishing yourself and others with. So, and you're coming out of hibernation. And so, this is the time when you start to take things off of your, something fell. And I want to go get it, but I'm not gonna go get it. And I think it has to do with some of the fertility things that I like to talk about, some of the esoteric, metaphysical, quantum physical energies that I discuss. Every episode now I'm having something to happen that lets me know that that my ancestors are with me. I love and wellness. Love plus art equals wellness. Just as I decided I wanted to get up and get away from where I was, I came where I thought it would be a bird sanctuary, and here are the birds coming to greet me. A blue jay and Mr. Crow. They were sitting and watching me, and then I began watching them. Again, love plus art equals wellness. Enjoy your day. So we talked about, we did our poem. We talked about Easter. We talked about the observation of the full moon. We talked about April Fool's Day. One of my mentors is Gil Scott Heron. His birthday was April 1st, and my stepmother's birthday was April 1st. She's gone on to glory, and so has my pops. Yesterday was the day of his passing, the anniversary of his passing. And so I'm in the ancestor mode. And so this month I will be observing and paying homage to those that have gone before me, that have paved the way, that have allowed me certain opportunities and benefited me, resourcing, network, love, whatever they were offering me. It was a big influence in my life. And so I want to share that this weekend. So One Love and Wellness, some of the words that I want to talk about. Well, I do want to tell you my 5 words for wellness. Let's start with that, because these words are words that I feel will influence and help us to balance in a holistic way our energy, and to be able to have a more happy heart, to be able to live in a more energetically balanced place. So my 5 words of wellness are, starting with hydrate. And I would say hydration is not just you drinking water. It also includes maybe you could put a filter on your water head and taking a shower, or you could also eat a piece of fruit that hydrates you. That is actually, if I'm not mistaken, that's H3O, not H2O, which is really what our body converts the water into to hydrate our body, because it doesn't absorb the straight water. It actually processes it, and even if you're using the skin to absorb and hydrate with, which is the largest organ of our body, then it will process it. It is an alchemy process that it does convert into what is needed in our bodies as we absorb what libations that might be helpful to lubricate our more than 70% physical form of water. So hydrate was the first one. Cleanse is the second. Once you've hydrated enough, you can get to the point where you can cleanse or detox, and that is, rinsing yourself off, washing your mouth out, washing your teeth. That is keeping your house clean. That is keeping your mind clean, your heart clean, your ears clean, your nose clean. All the things that you would do to be able to hear better, to see better, to know better, to live better. Because the more cleanliness is next to godliness. I think that's what they have touted in some of the folklore. But let's just say that, the more that you can keep, your body clean, your mouth clean, your nose clean, your ears clean, your mind clean, your thoughts clean, a clear conscience, a clear heart, a clear vision, all these things will clarify, if you intend them in such a way that it will draw to you scenarios that will allow those habits, those notions, that mindset to continue. That's why I say it's a holistic thing. So hydrate, cleanse. The next one is to tune in. And so now you've cleared the clutter, you've cleared the passageways, you've cleared the byways and highways of your energy to be able to flow a lot more freely. So you'll get ideas very clearly. You'll be able to portray yourself, to verbalize, to communicate very clearly. You'll be able to register things around you more quickly. You'll observe things. Things will start to register on your Richter scale as having causing some effect, or symbolizing something that's about to happen. When the light turns green, that's a symbol to now go. So are you looking? Are you seeing the sights? Are you seeing the sign turning to green, or telling you to stop when it's turning red? These are things that, in dreams you might see, and that begin to take on a symbolism for you. I mean, there are things that are hidden in plain sight. I've just explained a few of them myself, because who knew that that's where April Fool really came from, when they were actually tricking us. And now we are the easily caught fish. We are the light is very bright. We are the easily caught fish, the easily fooled, snared in this hoax of a paradigm. They've shifted us to not noticing, not being tuned in, not having the connection to some of the things that are of spiritual energy, are of a esoteric effect or impact, or we've been training ourselves to not listen and hear those things based on, getting out of practice of listening to and tuning in. And so with that tuning in, I'm also saying tune in inside, but tune in outside as well. Tune in in a more connected way, so that if not only that light turning green, but let's just say, that someone is still drifting through that yellow light, that red light, and so that you still have to observe, are you seeing some other headlights coming that you need to now, you observe the red light or the green light, or the situation is now changing, where your observation now has to come into play, and you have to make a call based on what you see as an endangering potential scenario. You have to embrace all of what's being touted in this picture, and looking at a full spectrum of how am I being impacted by all of the things that are happening around me. So tuning in is the third word. The fourth word is adjust your attitude. because as you start to tune in, it's not good or bad what you do with the energy. Energy itself is not good or bad, but what you do with that energy is what counts. So how it affects you or how you respond, those are the things that are now having to be, you have to tell yourself, if you have an issue with fear of things, or if you have an issue of having elevated energy when you're upset, or if there's some things that you want to now change and shift into, you have to begin to now consider those things in your the opportunities that you're now given to exercise those new ways that you want to be. So you've hydrated, you cleansed, you've tuned in, and now you're adjusting your attitude, because if you've decided that I'm looking for love, or if you've decided I'm looking for a house, or if you've decided I'm looking for a car, if you've decided that I'm doing something different, you now have to put some steps into position, and now have to plan out. If you know that tomorrow this time you want to be in a specific place, what do you need to do to get to that particular place? So now you need to line up all your resources, your networks. It may just be you go get your car keys and you leave out, but me, I go through a whole rigmarole. I set the bag by the door. The bag is already placed with all the things that I'm needing. I am ready an hour in advance, so that last hour I can meditate or get myself together into a mindset that I am tuned into what I'm about to do with a full-fledged commitment, and moving forward with a full concentrated effort and my energy. And so after you have set your attitude or set your altitude, because, if you want to rise higher, you want to be above the energy level that you have in the past, respond in a different way, you are now adjusting yourself. You are now setting your GPS. You're setting it and forgetting it, because now the universe is going to cooperate with you. As long as your intention and your attention matches each other, that's where the magic happens. And oh, by the way, just for quick reference, I am wearing some Agape Love beads. These beads are jade, jasper, and peridot. These are the green stones, and in the middle we've got some amber. Of course, this is a 100% bare copper healing tool that helps I am healing several places on my body, and these copper tools do assist me in that. This is a red coral stone that's on here, and this again is for my root chakra. And I don't know how well you do or don't see it, but One Love and Wellness, Love+Art equals wellness. Look me up if you'd like for me to come to visit you. They match the earrings. I also have on, this is something I told you about before, that a young lady harvested from her reservation, and she sold it to me at a jewelry, a crystal show in Virginia one year in Dallas. And then it started as belly beads, and now it is too big for me. I have lost some weight since I've made it. I've used it as head garb. This again is a traditional piece for me right now, but it is for, it is on the market. It is ready for a new home. I would just cleanse it of all of anything that has been programmed for me, set it so that I can reset it for you, so that you can receive it in your loving care, and so that it can do what is necessary for you. So, Love+Art equals wellness. Did we have another word that we wanted to talk about? It seemed like there were some words that I did want to talk about. The hidden in plain sight, the big picture, micro, macro. Know thyself. Know thyself. Media appeal, church, and marketing. So those were words that I thought I was going to try to work into part of my conversation. Well, one last thing, because I did say that I was going to talk about Charlie. So Charlie and I had some Harry Potter experiences. Charlie was an artist. I don't know where he is now. He made jewelry. He made bone bead jewelry. He made jewelry from the bones of African animals. He had a exotic jewelry business. And so I met Charlie on at a Valentine's Day event at a big producer's house in Fort Washington. And, he followed me around all night. He kept following me around, kept following, can I get your number? Can we talk? Can I talk to you? Can you come over here? And, just starting different conversations with me all night. And I was steady ducking and dodges, ducking and dodges. I didn't feel anything. I didn't like his appearance very much, but he was very persistent. And so something told me, check this fella out, see what he's about, see what's going on with this cat. So Charlie actually lived on my side of town, less than a mile away from where I lived. I didn't know that. I met him at least 25 miles from my house, okay? And so he lived right around the corner from me. But anyway, he invited me to a restaurant, the Anchor Inn. The Anchor Inn is off of George Avenue in Silver Spring. And it's no longer open, but the sign is there because it was like the shrimp boat. Shrimp boat is an icon, so Anchor Inn is one of those icon seafood restaurants like Hogate's was, like Phillips is. Well, not so much Phillips, but Hogate's was. Excuse me. So in the meantime, so he asked me out. We talked on the phone once or twice. I wasn't really all that interested. I was very much into seeking a closer walk with the spirit. And so I told him that that's what I was doing. I was looking for a closer walk with the spirit. So he gave me a book, and the book was called Secret Codes of the Universe. And it was another book. Of course, at the time, I was also involved in a church. As I said, I was seeking more of the spirit. So I participated in a church very, very, very adamantly. I was there a couple days a week, doing all kinds of things, driving the van in a couple of classes, bringing my daughter, we were very, very active. And so the folks at my church were like, you need to give those books back to him. But before I get to that, let's talk about that dinner. So we went to the Anchor Inn. And so he says, hey, let me order for you. And so I thought about in my mind what I would order. Is he going to order it? It's my thought. This fellow ordered exactly what I wanted for my meal. In addition, the drink that I wanted, which I wanted Grand Marnier warmed and a brandy snifter. That was where I was at that time. And a side whatever or what do you call it? Champagne on the side. Let's put it that way. Okay, so I'm like, this is interesting. So Charlie, eventually we worked up to, we had a lot of good conversations. He said, hey, let me cook for you. So he brought me to his house. He cooked for me several times because the night of the party, my roommate and I got into some terrible discord. And it ended up with some blows exchanged. And then at that point, I decided I'm not going to live here. I'm going to move out. This is too much. It was something that sparked from something. I did not know she had bipolar schizophrenia. I did not know that she was on medication. I didn't know that she had not been taking her medication. All these things were surprises to me. But it was dangerous to me and my daughter at that time. So we spent a lot of time at Charlie's house, and Charlie built his furniture in his house. He built the couch. He's a carpenter. He was making all these. He was working at a furniture place. He was very good with his hands. All the things on my list that I said I wanted my man to be, Charlie was those things. But I felt nothing towards him. I felt no affinity towards him. I just felt like, okay, and he was rescuing me. And so at that point I felt, okay, well, keep my emotions in check because he's Captain Save a Hoe, save a chick, save a me. I did not want to, be swayed in my emotions into something that I wasn't ready for. I had just gotten out of a a previous engagement where, I was scheduled to be married and this and that. So I was cleansing myself of that. So I wasn't really ready for that. But then, Charlie he's very persistent. So Charlie gave my daughter and myself his bedroom for us to sleep in for the weeks that we were there. And it turned out that one particular night I walked past Charlie. Charlie had dropped his veil. I was able to see through whatever was underneath, and it looked like one of those doomsday creature from the Black Lagoon kind of thing. Snarly teeth and some other stuff that really, it was very, I should have been taken aback. But by then, I had been conditioned to, I had been having so many things happen that were esoteric, metaphysical, quantum physics, spiritual um, uh, events, activities, and so on. And I don't know, I want to kind of include the fact that it potentially had something to do with UFO because, I don't know if I would say that's of God. I don't know if I want to say it's of a spirit. I don't know if I want to say it's a UFO, but I do want to say that it did not seem like it was from here. And with my own visual vision eyes, I was able to see this. So his veil dropped, and what happened is he had fixed me a dinner. Oh my God, all my favorites. He has pistachios for snacks and grapes, and some of my favorite cheese. He had prepared a beautiful, lovely, tasty, delicious gourmet meal. This man was a wonderful cook. So, and this is like I said, he's the one that gave me this book, Secret Codes of the Universe. So, as I'm walking past him and his veil drops, I initially am like, wow, okay, that happened, So I went in the kitchen, I was putting my dishes away, and as I was putting my dishes away, I was, gathering myself, saying, you know, did that happen, And so I'm turning around and coming back out because I'm not staying in the kitchen. I'm not afraid. I just observed something. I want to get to the nitty gritty. What the frick, frackety frock, right? So Charlie's leaning back up on this fish tank that he made, and he's got a mirror hanging over top of the fish tank, and the fish tank has beautiful, huge fish in it. So he made this fish tank, and he also made the frame for the mirror. And so he's telling me about this story, and I don't know, I may have shared this with you before, but he is telling me the story about how he gave his soul to the devil. And this is, he's having this conversation. Maybe he's trying to relate to me in the ways that he thinks this existence, this plane, this paradigm, this dimension explains certain energies, because there is an agreement. There was an agreement in place that there would not be certain things talked about or not revealed or not being an outward revelation of these things until there was a certain amount of education or intelligence or IQ on certain things, because it's very selfish for us to think that we're the only, beings that exist if we know that there's a sky full of planets, stars, and activity, space. So, but in any case, so Charlie's telling me, he's showing me in the mirror when he gave his soul to the devil, and he's showing me in the mirror like it's a movie. I'm seeing what's on the mirror, like what what he's saying. He's saying he was in Chicago. He was married to this woman. She had passed. She died of cancer. He was feeling very, very down about himself. He was feeling very, he actually was pimping. He was into drugs. He was starting to do cocaine. He was roller skating that day. He had his chicks out on the stroll, and he was out roller skating. And he said that he was in an IHOP with them, and he went up. He wanted to take a blow, but he didn't want to do it at the table. So he got up and he walked to the men's room. So when he on his way to the men's room, he walked by a mirror and caught a glimpse, and he got a proposition in the mirror, and he says, I can. I know you're in a bad place. I know your energy is, you're capable of so much more. I can give you your riches, your wildest dreams, if you would just do some work for me. You work for me, and I will make your wildest dreams come true. I'm seeing this interaction as he's explaining it to me in this mirror and being reflected like a movie. And so Charlie, I believe he started telling me that because he could tell that I think his energy knew. Maybe he flashed it at me. Maybe he did that to see what I do. What would I do? And I didn't do anything. I am not putting myself in position to say, I am a ninja. I am trained. I am able to respond to things. I'm a certified emergency response team member here in the DMV. I am trained in many ways to not have a response that would endanger myself. Let's put it that way. I am able to defend myself, but I am also very cautious not to, there are only certain times that I have been able to, or noted that I responded in a way that was in a defensive mode that was a time that it was not called for. So in any case, we're approaching 40 some minutes. I want to let you go and let you know that love plus art equals wellness. That therapy session that I just had this conversation with you, I realized that if I have a conversation with some of my peers, which today I did have, and I think I was going to tell you about a synchronistic event that happened. So, I always have these fresh, this happened today kind of revelation to share. So I was having a conversation, in my own head. I was thinking, hey, some things have put me in a position where I need a few things, and I had thought in my mind, who has those things and who could share those resources with me and not hurt them? Who could I be put in a position to be receiving resources from? And I have a lot of folks that are in position to know, where are the resources for this. Last week, I needed some more fruits and vegetables, and next thing I know, I'm pulling up in front of a building to do take care of some business, and they're giving away all these fruits and vegetables. And hey, I got my fruits and vegetables. I said I needed it. I put myself in the receiving mode, and I was able to receive it. So today, the same thing. The resources were, I was considering, okay, what can I do? And I didn't come up with any answers. But while I was in the mode of thinking that thought, a phone call came, and it was the answer. And it was like, hey, come on, this, that, and the other. I've got what you need. Come on and get it. Let's go get it. Let's make sure you got what you need. And then the conversation that happened with it, the person who called me was an Akan priest. He is he has a theological degree, as well as he is he works with people in mental health as well, which is what I had recently done. So we had some really good conversations and some enlightening conversations. As a matter of fact, let me share this one thing with you before I go, and I hope this sheds some light on some scenarios with you. But I was wondering, because I had read something about one thing led to another, starting with the April Fool's thing, and I started to look at something led me to look at female circumcision. And so the thought came to my mind that maybe the male circumcision is affecting them in an adverse way, because I believe that foreskin has a purpose, and I believe it is even a spiritual purpose that allows them to be able to have some additional freedom of not having the erection to be so easily aroused, so that they could actually have more of the natural thoughts occur without having to outwardly exhibit some things that would put them in a position of being on display. So, well, anyway, one love and wellness. I'll talk about more stuff like that later. I am, trying to be a little more open to listening to the spirit, and I'm sharing with you the things that are coming to me in the spirit. I am Precious Mother Love. You have been here for the last episode. Join us for the next episode of Heart Happy Hour. Thanks for being here with us today. I wonder, music may or may not play. It may or may not be able to be restarted. But let's see. Did I keep it off so long that it won't play for me? It's playing. Here we go. Here we go. Let's go. Let's do it, do it, do it. Come on, do it, yeah. Woo, 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 woo. Well, love and wellness. Like your style and your smile and your walk and your talk and your smell with the hair. How you doing, baby? Hey, hey, I love me some of you. Join us next time. Love+Art equals wellness. One love and wellness. To you, baby. Why? 'Cause I love me some of you.